recording to the cloud as well. So we're going to go through a lot of content, and Sheridan, when we get done, or Matthew, when you get done, if like, I wanted to see that again, or Evan went quick through that section, I'm happy to share the recording with anybody after. In fact, I might just post it in the WhatsApp chat for the SLDM group that we created for today. But this is, as far as virtual Zoom etiquette with me, when you're at divisional events and things of that nature, I'm just going to ask that you're engaged 100 in what we're doing. We only have 2 hours together, and that may or may not feel long to you. I don't know, but I want to make my time really impactful. And if you're here, you're invited for a reason. I basically told my managers, Matthew, I said, invite somebody that you like. Invite somebody that you want to build with. Invite someone that you see having potential, someone that could maybe have explosive sales this summertime. And since this is our very first one of the summer, Nicholas, everything's in front of us right now. Like, we're literally only in the second week of the summer for our vector calendar, and there's going to be a lot of really exciting things. So our organization is going to grow pretty rapidly here in the next 3 or 4 weeks. So it's going to be fun to be a part of that. And starting at the beginning, Miss Davis, for you, you know, like with Kaylin, like at the very beginning of the startup, I think there's something really special about that as well. So anyway, and if you can just make sure to keep your cameras on. If you have to use the restroom or something like that, totally cool. You can shut your camera off. But for the most part, you all know how it is. And I went to college as well. I know that if my camera is off, I'm probably not engaged in the way that I should be. So just please do that. Courtesy for me, certainly when I'm running any events, and my district managers appreciate that. So you'll hear me saying this a lot. So let me talk about what I'm trying to do. So I've been in the business now for, this is gonna be my 18th year, going into my 18th year with Cutco and Vector. And I'll tell you a little bit about my story here momentarily, but now my main job as your division manager is, Daniel, it's just like developing, curating, crafting, retaining leaders. Like, I'm so passionate about developing leaders. We do work with a lot of young leaders. I don't know how old you are, Nicholas, but you know, we do work with a lot of young people. And so our company actually provides this nice platform for people who want to grow their skill set so they can separate themselves from their peers. In fact, you might even want to put in your notes something for the SLDM that we like to create is a position of choice for all of you. And so we want to help you create positions of choice where, you know, later on when you graduate from school, Tiaja, you're like, I have lots of options. Like, everybody wants options. You don't have to just take whatever you can get. And so the better your skill set, the better your resume, that's good, you know? And so this is the first event to help create leaders. And I talk about being engaged. And here's what I mean when I think about leaders that are 100% engaged. There's 3 areas here in seeking best practices, hungry for growth, and personal clarity. You'll see me use this slide often. We talk about it a lot. If you want to be a leader in my organization, one thing that I'm going to ask of you is that you are seeking the best practices. And in fact, that's probably why you're here today, right? You want to get the best practices, right? You want to learn some goods. You want to learn how to sell more, get more referrals. You want to learn from the division manager, right? So I've been here for 18 years. I have a lot of experience, was real successful as a student sales rep, and now have close to $45 million in Cutco sales under my belt. And so I don't know a lot about a lot, but I know a lot about how to sell Cutco, you know, and help you be successful while you're part of our organization. So I want to help you give confidence, because if you have the best practice and you're confident in your program, it gives you confidence that you can execute and you can go out and get a result. And that's really important here. And it's really important anywhere where you go. We also expect of my leaders is people that are hungry for growth. And so I really look for people that are actually visually engaged. So there's a couple of things with that. Obviously, Sheridan, it's like eye contact the best we can on Zoom, right? Which, you know, is okay, right, for our virtual world, but also just note taking, asking questions. You'll notice in our chats, a lot of people post up light bulbs. I love what Carla wrote in our San Diego one, like, I'm living my light bulbs, you know, that brightened my day right when I saw that this morning. And so posting up your takeaways and being engaged in the learning process is so key, because Matthew, either way, we're spending the time, right? We're spending the time today. So you might as well get something out of it and make the most use possible. So that's my belief. And I know our leaders are going to do that too. And the other thing that I know that leaders that are 100% engaged have is they're able to create clarity for themselves. And so clarity allows for better decision-making process, right? If you're clear on what you're going to do, you can make the decision. If you're unclear, you're unsure of your footing, you're not necessarily going to be as quick. And so a lot of times that can lead to poor decisions, right? And so I would imagine that some of you on this Zoom probably know what you want to do in your life, right? You might have like crystal clear clarity. The next 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20, I'm doing this. I also have people show up to the SLDM where they're like, Evan, I have no freaking idea what I want to do, you know? And you might also be in that situation too, Sheridan, where you're coming into this job like 5 days ago or whatever. And you're like, I don't even have any clarity about what I want to do with Cutco, you know, and how long can I be here? And is this a viable thing for me to do, not only for the summertime, but for an extended period of time. And so I'm going to do a great job today, really walking you through the vector advancement and what's available for you. And my purpose for that, Daniel, is for you to get sparked and excited about something. So it just starts to sharpen your clarity a little more, right? Nicholas, I don't plan for you to be here for 5 years, but I like that. If you are, you know, we want to retain and attract our talent. And so whatever you're excited about today, Sheridan, I'm going to ask you to like tell Jeremy, Matthew, tell Lindsay, right? And so when you start to do those things, then they can make a plan, which is going to make you more clear. It's going to make you have better decisions. And then you're going to get the results you're looking for later on, right? So that's really important for our leadership crew. So this fancy chart, this psychological chart here is essentially saying, Miss Davis, if you're active in the learning process, you get way more out of it, right? No surprise there. And the idea is like, we only retain a portion of what we read, but when we start to see it and hear it, and then we start to write it, and then we actually do it, then it starts to be in place. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to teach you a lot of stuff today. I'll probably teach you some stuff that by the time I get done, you'll actually be upset with your manager. That's actually kind of my goal, where Tiaja is like, well, what the hell, Kaylin, you've been holding back, you know, like Evan taught me all this other fancy advanced stuff. And so, well, obviously we can't teach everything at one time, but this is our sales leadership development meeting. So if you're here, Daniel, we want to help you kick serious tail in sales, right? We want to, CPO is the name of the game. We want to help you get a lot of results, because I know when you hit promotions and you like your paychecks, you're actually going to enjoy the process more here. Even Nicholas, if you're not money motivated or advancement motivated, like it's just going to make you feel like you're doing a better job at your job. And so we really want to help you get better results while you're here. So we hope to create many sales leaders in the organization. So this will be my first one for the summertime. I'm also going to ask that for those of you that enjoy today, is influence other people on your team, right? This is an invite only event, but when you come here, Sheridan, and you get goods and you go, oh, that was really great, we're going to have lots of other new people this summer that are going to start. And so you chiming in and giving some feedback on what you loved about the SLDM really goes a long way for our new people that haven't even started with us yet. I have 3 objectives for all of you while you're here, and they read like this. The first one is I want to dramatically increase the amount of Cutco that you sell. So I'm actually going to give you some tangible things today, some workable things that you can go do. We're going to focus a lot on recommendations. Anybody like to get more recommendations, more introductions from your clients? Absolutely. So I'm going to give you some things that you can go use right away on your next demo. I'm also going to educate you on all of our future opportunities. For most people, this event is pretty eye-opening, because you started a job here a week ago, Sheridan, selling knives, right? Kind of a weird job. I don't, you know, it's kind of strange what the normal thing is a little bit. But then when you see everything that's available that can come from doing well in our company, I think that might be motivating for you. And then, of course, to identify my future leaders for 2021 and beyond. So this is actually my recruiting meeting. This is the best meeting that I run. Like, my objective is to retain our talent, right? So I want to make sure that you understand that I'm trying to hold on to our best players. I want to create people that are 5-star recruits. I want to help anybody who comes in the organization, but some of you might be coming in already an A player type, right? You were already a superstar. Maybe it's a superstar academic, superstar athlete, whatever it is. And you already feel like you have A player qualities. Well, we want more of those types of people, because if I can have more of those people in my organization, it strengthens us, right? There's a reason why teams perform better if their players are better. And so it's the same idea here. So we want the South Coast Division to be really, really strong while you're all here. So just to give you a quick personal background on me, like 1 minute or 2 minutes here, I am here as the division manager to create 5-star recruits. And so when I came into this job, that's not something that I would have said of myself, right? That I'm a 5-star, that I've covered all my bases. And I came into the job when I was 18 years old. I graduated from high school, and I had a friend. Did anybody have a friend refer you to the job? And that's why you're here, either from like their social media or like a text message or something like that from us? Yeah. So that's how I heard about it as well too. And I started in the summer of 2003. I only had one other job before, bagging groceries, working hourly job, and that was fine and well. But this was my first job ever learning saleship, learning how to work with clients, learning how to manage my own schedule, learning how to stay motivated, learning how to hit targets, learning how to build rapport with people and close sales and all these types of things that we teach. And I found that I really enjoyed it, right? I was pretty nervous when I was new, as maybe some of you were, but as I started to do the job, I found that it was a bit of a knack for me. So in my fast start contest, I sold a little over $9,000 in my fast start contest. So if you're in your fast start contest right now, I would say go for it like you've never gone for anything else, just because you only get one, and whatever happens, happens. Whatever the final CPO amount is the CPO amount, but man, go after it for sure, because win as much as you possibly can. And my first summer on the job, I really, really enjoyed it, and I worked exceptionally hard. So my first summer on the job, I would say I worked full time, right? And so you all know what full time looks like. And so I was probably working 35 or 40 hours a week, lots of phone calls. I attended all the events, all the meetings. If there was something there where I could learn, Sheridan, I went. I made all the phone calls, and I was probably doing somewhere between 10 and 15 demos on average every single week of the summer, more when it was a contest period, right? Now, Matthew, that's not an expectation of you. I'm just letting you know, I started in the summer, I had nothing else going on, and I was like, I just need to make all the money that I can. So I sold about 30 grand my first summer, and then I was off to college. So I went to Marquette University, which is in Milwaukee. I studied business there. I have my degrees in marketing and finance. I graduated in 4 years. I did what you're going to hear me talk about today is Cutco through college, which if you haven't heard that already, that's definitely a thing for your notes. We say CTC, and I did the Cutco through college program. So I went from being a rep to being on key staff, to being an assistant manager intern, to becoming an assistant manager, and working with like a leadership team, and working with the current organization that I was a part of in the San Diego office. And when I got done with school, I had ended up selling roughly 200 grand or so worth of the product while I was in school, which was pretty decent. While I was a college student, it was enough money for me to live and pay off all my school debt. So Cutco helped me graduate from my university debt-free, which I was really thankful for and proud. That's probably one of the things I'm most proud of. And then I was off to the races. So since I had my degrees in business, I was going to go look for a lot of different types of jobs in the business field and banking and such, and nothing was a good fit. So I decided to become a district manager. Like we have Jordan Farber that has joined here on. She's my Chino district manager. And Lindsay Lendhurst is also one of my district managers. I'll talk a little bit about that opportunity today. It's our full-time career manager position. So I opened up my first office when I was 21 years old in Temecula. And then we ripped it. We did amazing. So we won the Silver Cup. We were the #1 team in the nation that year. And then ever since then, we continue to grow in sales. Since as a district manager, I was a developer of people. Assistant managers, branch and district managers were coming out of my organization. In 2014, I was promoted to running the South Coast Division, which is my current role now. So DVM for short. And my job is basically to work with all of our top talent, help train some of our new people during the summertime, but I'm really responsible for running our leadership academy and helping really cultivate our talent for people that want something more while they're here. So I work with probably, I'd say, Miss Davis, like top 5% of my division, top 10% of the people in my division. My managers are working directly with everybody else. But today I'm going to talk to you about how to get on my radar, how to work with me more, how to like, knock on my door, so to speak, and say, Evan, pay attention, promote me, those things. I control the promotions in the division, and we want to help promote people into leadership roles. So we're really excited about that. There are 50 divisions right now in the company. And our division right now is number 8. So we're in the top 10 of divisions. So I'm really proud of our team right now. We have 11 district managers, and I have 5 branch managers in a pilot office in San Diego. And so that's a basic story. I've been running the division now. I'm going into my 7th year for running the division now. And I live in San Diego. That's where I am currently. I live close to SeaWorld area, and I'm married to my wife. I don't know how long I've been married, almost 10 years. Yeah, almost 10 years. My wife is a nurse in the ICU at UCSD, and we have 3 kids. I got a 5-year-old, my daughter Larkin. I have a 3-year-old, my son Lars, and I have a 3-month-old Louis, my little boy. Okay, so that rounds out the Keller crew. So that's just a little bit of background on me, and we're going to jump in today. So get your notes ready. We're going to roll. So here's a few things for you to be aware of. First thing is the pillars of our division. This is something that we are about. This is what we embody. This is what we do. And one thing you'll hear us talking about a lot is, while you're here, Sheridan, I expect you to seek the best version of you. And that's what I expected Jordan. And are you getting better? That's it. And one of the things we talk a lot about, Nicholas, is progress, not perfection, right? So we don't expect anybody to be perfect. You're gonna make a lot of mistakes, right? We're gonna do them all the time, but are you trying to get better? Tiaja, do you have an attitude to get better? Do you have a desire to get better, right? And so those types of people, that's the culture we're working to cultivate across our division. We're also about offering opportunity. We really want to offer a lot of opportunity to people this summer and beyond. So this is why, Sheridan, we talk about team building all the time. Daniel, why Lindsay will say, hey, let's get some buddies on the team, share something on your social media, and you can be doing that constantly. Not only do you get those incentives and cool prizes, but it also, you make a magnificent impact on our division, right? So I actually wouldn't be here, obviously, if my friend didn't tell me about the job. Right. So that's just the facts. Like, I wouldn't be here selling Cutco today. And so offering the opportunity, especially now for people that need work, is so important. I really admire consistent sales, Matthew. So now that you're at my SLDM, I'll know all your names, right? And it gets a chance to get to know you. And that way I can pay attention to you on the Rolo report, right? Are you hitting the newsletter for the week? And are you doing it week in and week out? Jordan knows that I love big weeks. I love one. I'm going to be so excited for your big weeks, but I'm way more excited for people being consistent, right? Having a big week and then nothing in a big week is not the way that I think things in business should be built, right? So being consistent is really key. And then being open to communication and coaching is really important. So this is the vision right now for our division. This is our breakout year. Last year, we really talked about brick by brick as we were rebuilding a great foundation. And now we have something to leap from as well and stand on and build into. And our breakout year is right now. We are up big for the year over what we did last year. And last year was our #1 year in new business sales. And I just, everything is, the wind is behind us. All trends are moving in the right direction. And that's really a great place to be. So eventually we want to scale that out. So that, Sheridan, means we want to create more opportunities for leadership roles. We're looking actually for more assistant managers, branch and district managers currently, right? Now that may or may not be a fit for you. It's just nice to know that there's an opportunity there, right? No one wants to just keep you at the rep level. If you want to move up, you can move up. Then we're going to make an epic run at being one of the top divisions in the company. And then that silver is actually a reference to a national championship. The #1 division wins a silver cup, a big trophy. Think about like a Stanley Cup. That's what we're trying to capture, is be a national champion division. One of the ways that you'll hear me talking about this is obviously CPO talks in a big way, but you want to get on my Super 25. Okay, so you hear your managers talking about this, and this is the campaign to date report. So we actually just started, right? This summer, I haven't even got my first CTD for the summertime yet, because we just finished the first week. I get them on Fridays, but I wanted to share with you some of the numbers from the springtime from our division. So you can see, to get into the top 25 in the spring was about $5,000. Okay. And it goes all the way up to Michelle Meyer. She was #1 at 34,000 and some change. And that's really awesome to see that. This summer though, the stakes change. People have more time to work. There's no school for a lot of people, so they can actually do more demos and sell a lot more. To crack into the top 25 this summer, I would think it would be around the $12,000, $13,000, $14,000, $15,000 mark. And our #1 rep last summer, as an example, sold a little over $50,000 from scratch, who started in the summertime. So just in terms of framing about like what's possible in the summertime, but this is definitely a great way to get on my radar. All right. So what we're going to talk about today are 3 things. Okay. So I'm going to talk about the opportunities. I'm going to talk about, after we go over the opportunities, we'll just debrief and light bulbs. And if you have a question about something, that's going to be a really good time to do that. And then the second section of the training is going to have 2 parts for our SLDM, which is going to be focused on recommendations, right? Getting more intros from customers, and then also showing you how to close bigger sales. So actually, when you're with the customer, Matthew, how to raise your average order. So I'm going to show you a technique for that. So that way, again, like I said to you earlier, we're spending the time here either way. When you do a demo with a customer, you're still doing the time. So as long as you are better on that demo, you're actually going to get paid more for your time. Does everybody track with that really well, like that you're just going to get a better result. So, and obviously that customer is going to get a better result as well too. So we're going to first talk about all of our opportunities. Okay. Now, after this is all great stuff to write down for sure. But after this, when I go through this process, if you have questions about things, that's great. Right. We'll talk about those potentially during this, but also it's great to ask your manager. And then also when I go through this, if there's something that piques your interest, Sheridan, you're like, ooh, wait, hold on. I need that on my resume, right? I don't know how long I want to be with Cutco, but like I need to have that on my resume because that's valuable for me for the future. Just go ahead and star those things because those are great conversations to have with your manager about like, well, what would that path even look like? Okay, so that way you'll be aware of that. And then when I get done going through all this later today, when we get finished in the WhatsApp group, everybody, I'm going to drop a lot of files in there for you so you'll have access. And so to have like the list of every opportunity that we have and all those types of things. So you actually have the documentation from me on it. Does that sound good? All right, let's roll. Everybody feel good? Energy's good? All right, let's do it. So here's what we have available. Okay, so I would say the first thing is being here. Okay, being here. This is a great place to start. If you are invited, you should take that as a compliment, right? If you're here, that is a compliment directly to you from your manager that says, hey, I believe you're capable of a lot. You've already shown and hit your first promotion. I think there's a lot more that's out there for you, but they want you to make sure that you get your eyes open to a lot more, which is great. The big focus that every person, every leader in my organization has is our Leadership Academy. And we call that the TLA. So now if you see this hashtag, Daniel, you're going to know what that's for. That's the TLA. This is the creme de la creme. This is our top program. This is the one that people fight to get into. Every great company, I talked about this at the team meeting last night, every great company is going to have some type of platform to help their top people get better and make sure that they're well-trained. And this is our version. We call it the Leadership Academy. Our number one focus is helping our people become the best versions of themselves, period, the end, right? And so the people that get into my academy get an opportunity to work on 5 different areas that we talk about a lot. How to manage your time at a high level, how to manage your money. So we dive really deep into finances. Things, TAs, are like how to retire early, how to build long-term wealth, how to start your investments in Roths and SEPs and all those retirement accounts that people find confusing. Help you make your first trade if you need to, right? Talk about how people make their first, talk about interest rates, talk about credit scores, talk about buying your first house. These are all kinds of topics that we circulate in our TLA. And so that's one of our most popular topics for sure, just because a lot of schools don't teach it and some people's parents don't have the knowledge to teach that. And so we really dig into that. And I think that's a big one for our TLA. Another is managing energy, learning how to show up properly, learning how to actually manage how you feel and how you show up in a room or show up on a virtual call or impact other people, because everything is energy, right? So if we can make sure we affect that in a positive way, we give a lot of techniques on how to increase that so you show up better. When I say how to manage people, what we're really referring to here, Sheridan, is teams, right? Whether you're going to like run your own business or not, like you're probably going to be on a team someday again. And you might be managing that team, right? Or leading that team. And so there's a lot of skills and dynamics that go along with that. And then of course we teach you skill sets, Daniel, on how to manage yourself, which is arguably the most challenging one, right? So taking care of yourself and sorting that out. But we want to help people grow a lot. And so this is the number one thing people are fighting for. I'll let you know right now, if you're at this SLDM, then you're on my target list, Nicholas, to get into my TLA at the end of the summer, but you got to earn a spot. I'm going to watch everybody's performance over the summer. So I'm going to watch how they do, how they show up. We have tons of contests. Of course, Daniel, I'm going to look at your CPO. Matthew, I'm going to see where you finish at, right? I'm going to ask your district manager who showed up, who had the great attitudes, who are leaders on the team, who are people that could make the cut for our TLA. And then those people will earn interviews with me at the end of the summer. And so those people that interview well will get an opportunity to get into our academy. Our academy, Sheridan, goes from September to April. And so what I say is it's basically like taking a 1-credit leadership course while you're in school. For those of you in school, or those of you not, it's like taking a 1-credit leadership course. But the idea is that when they get done, it's on their resume, they get a letter of rec from me. And then Nicholas, if you get into my TLA and you complete my TLA, I could almost say with 100% certainty, next summer, we could guarantee you a leadership position in my organization, like having a much more bigger, impactful, influential role. And so if you're looking to expand your resume, that's the place that people go to. The number to write down for that is 10,000. Okay. 10,000 is the minimum mark that right now we want people shooting for to earn an interview. And the nice part for you, Daniel, is you got all summer. You got all summer to rack it up, right? If I have an SLDM in July, those people are like, Evan, you run those interviews at the end of August. I'm like, you better get on it. I mean, it's the time, that's when you started, you know, but TAs, you have all this time. Okay. So 10K is a good, like minimum bare bone for the summer. We have a lot of people that sell a lot more than that, but just thinking about that, it's about $500 in sales a week. So it's not overwhelming, but like I said, I'll point to what I said earlier. It's consistency, right? So if you can be consistent with that, that's great. So making a plan with your manager about how to interview for the TLA, if you're interested in getting that in your resume, if you're interested in getting a chance to get more experience and get to Dirty 30, you want to make a plan for that. So the steps of our opportunity look like this. For all of you right now, after you are here, Tiaja, the next logical step, rung in the ladder, step up the staircase, is to get to key staff. These are our key leaders on the team. They're like our MVPs. Just by show of hands, any of you ever do a sport? Anything like that? Okay. These are the captains. So Sheridan, if you're promoted to key staff, it doesn't change your job at all. It's just you're one of the captains on the team, which people are looking to you for what? Behaviors, attitudes, how to show up, those things you're just looked at as a leader. So your influence starts to spread. And for our key staff, you got to be at $3 grand in sales, have a great attitude. And some of you are already there. You're already over 3K. So I'd be talking to my manager if you're interested. Hey, I just want to get into that elite group. I want to learn a lot more. You just message your manager. How do I get to key staff? Right? Most of you will probably do that today if you're not already a key staffer. What do you need to see from me, Kaylin, to get to key staff? Right? And then they can help that conversation go along. But I would say as a great target in the next week and a half, could you hit that? I think that's possible for everybody. Certainly if you're under 3K, you want to blitz towards that next promotion for sure. With our key staff, essentially we're going to have right now it's bi-weekly, but in the summertime, we're going to have weekly key staff meetings on Saturdays, very short ones, 30, 45 minutes, where we're going to be teaching content that's just for our key staff. And so to help them level up their skills. So Nicholas, learning things like closing more, better on the phones, increasing your average order, better demo skills, rapport building, recommendations, you name it, but higher level teaching for all of you. And also it's a community, right? So it's like the people that are all trying to kick ass. It's like, that's the place where you want to be. So key staff is a great place to go, and it's going to help you get on track to be a TLA candidate by the end of the summertime. The next one after that is Dirty 30 and beyond. Okay. So if you're under $10,000 in sales, like this is clearly what you want to hit. This is it. Okay. So, and this is a race to 10K. So a few things that I would put in my notes if I were you is I need to make a plan with my manager on how to hit Dirty 30. And I actually, Daniel, I don't care how quickly you hit it. You could hit it next week. It could take you all summer. It could take you a month. It doesn't matter. You get to work at your own pace, right? You get to make that shot about how you want to work the job. But sooner the better. I always recommend that people go fast for this, because after that, Nicholas, you can work a lot less, but earn a lot what? A lot more, because you're at 30%. So remember, that's at $10,000 in career sales. This is where we say the job starts. Okay, this is where we say the job starts. And because you're at this meeting, I actually want to shift your perspective on what big is. I want to shift your perspective, Matthew, on what good is. Okay. And it's just important that you start to see that. Okay. So a good example of that is y'all know someone that got C's their whole career, like they got C student in high school. Okay. When they get an A, how do they feel? They're like, oh man, like I don't get these a lot, right? It's like a really big deal. They might post about it, they're telling mom about it, whatever. You guys know those straight A students all the time. They're just always getting A's, dropping that 4.0. When they get an A, how do they feel? No big deal, because it's their what? It's their standard. So they've just elevated their standards is really what it is. And so I want you to think about that, Nicholas, when you're selling Cutco. Nicholas, how do you feel if you sell a homemaker set? Probably, yeah, you might be like, What if you guys sell an ultimate set? How do you feel if you would just sell an ultimate in your next demo? You might be jumping out your drawers if you do that. You might, oh my God, I sold an ultimate. It's so great, you know. But eventually, Sheridan, I want you to get to the point where you go, I'm just doing the job. People buy ultimate sets, right? Because we sell a boatload of ultimate sets, right? We just dropped one just yesterday in the pilot office, Emily Jabor, boom, ultimate set, right? So these things happen, but it's just raising your level of expectations. And so when you see this here, Matthew, what's exciting about this is when you sell $1,000 and you're at 10K, you make $300, right? You could do that on one demo. If you did it in 7 demos, right, with just an average order of 250, not bad. But you can see how if you continue to go up, we pay pretty high commission levels. Yeah, we go all the way to 50%, which is great. And you can imagine that, Nicholas, just do the math. When you're at dirty 30 and you hit it quick in the summer, and then you drop a $3,000 week, you're going to get close to a $900 paycheck. And that's awesome, right? That's a great paycheck to get in the week. And it only gets better after that, right? It continues to go. So you guys see where this hashtag DTJ is? What that is, Sheridan, that's just doing the job, right? Now, you know that because you came to my SLDM. Nobody else on the team knows that unless they got to my SLDM. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is to stay on my radar, right? Message me in the chats, right? You drop a homemaker or something like that. But Daniel, when you do that, just know I'm going to probably just hashtag that what? DTJ. Actually, I would love that. If you're in Riverside and the Riverside Rain chat, and Matthew, you just drop a homemaker and you just write hashtag DTJ. Just doing the job, is just doing what we do, because we sell a lot of homemakers, right? And so eventually the more you do of that, the more regular it will be. Here's what I talk about during the summertime. Selling $1,000 a week for our sales leaders is like a C-. It's like what you should be doing, because it's about 7 demos, which can get done in 1 or 2 days. So it's not a lot of work, but that might feel like a lot right now, like $1,000 a week. I haven't been doing that yet. Evan, I just got started. Well, obviously your standards are going to increase. Selling $2,000 or $3,000 a week, I would say, is like a B. Selling $4,000 or $5,000 would be an AA plus. So in terms of, that's how I view those things. And when reps do them consistently, that's really great to see. But 1,000 is a good minimum to shoot for, because that's our newsletter now in the summertime. And that's just the consistency that we're looking for from our sales leaders. So that's good to know, coming from me. All right. So anyway, the next opportunity after that for all of you is to become an assistant manager intern. Have any of you, just by show of hands, ever had a leadership position before? Ever held anything? Okay, a couple of you have. Cool. Some of you have not. So for a lot of people, Vector is their first place to get some leadership experience. Those of you that have already had leadership experience before and you're interested in it, this is definitely something we're thinking about and pursuing. We are going to be adding on a lot of new assistant manager interns and assistant managers as the summer unfolds. Just so everybody's clear, an assistant manager and an intern and an assistant manager are doing a lot of the same job. An assistant manager intern position is effectively like a 2 to 6 week trial period where they get a chance to work behind the scenes. So Ms. Davis, if you get promoted to AMI from Kaylin, it's like, I want you to be one of my AMIs, and you have interest in that and you fill out your application and everything, you get a chance to go behind the scenes, right? Get a chance to see how we run the business, how we work with the team, how we build our sales teams, how we coach them. And so you get a lot of just behind the curtains information, right, that you're not seeing as a representative. But it also helps you kind of grow into an assistant manager position. Our assistant managers really do 3 things. Our assistant managers sell, they help team build, and they're great role models. Period, the end. That's it, right? That's like the most minimum level for our assistant managers. And we do not promote based on tenure. We promote based on the person. Meaning, Nicholas, if you're just here for a year, you don't automatically get an AM promotion. But you could be here for 4 weeks, my man, and get an AMI promotion just like that. Hunger, desire, you want to move up quick. You talk to Lindsay, you make a plan. You got to talk to your district manager about that. But I just want to let you know, it's not about length of time. It's about who you are and how you show up. And so all of our district managers want to build and create more leaders, and we want to get more help on our teams. So we have roles available, positions available for that. So if you're interested in one of those, you can talk to your manager. You get management experience. Matthew, you get your foot in the door. Our assistant manager interns are the first selections to get to be on office pay. So our assistant managers also get paid off the office. So Sheridan, you get paid off your sales, but I'd also pay you off working in the office as well. And when I say working in the office, usually they're still working from home from Zoom and stuff like that, but they're helping the team. A lot of promotions of these are going to happen in the next 2 months. So this one's on you. Right? Can I give everybody a big tip on how to get promoted? Just ask your manager, how do I get promoted? Like, can you promote me? Like, what do you need to see from me? Like, just that question lets them know that you're interested, and that's a great place to start. Here's a great way to look at this in terms of just scale wise. Once you're at $1,000 in sales, you can start networking with me. All of you have already done that. We've probably had some WhatsApp exchange already. At 3K key staff, at 6K an AMI opportunity, and 10K getting an opportunity to interview for the TLA. Is everybody good with that? Cool. Our assistant managers, by the way, work part-time. So I have, like, for example, one of my assistant managers in the pilot office works a couple hours on Sunday and a couple hours on Monday this summer. The rest of the time, she's just selling Cutco. She's got a class that she's taken. She's enjoying her summertime. So it's a very part-time position around that. Some people, when they think assistant manager, like, oh man, I'm like, it's a career job. It's 40 hours a week. Like it's very far from that. Okay. So it's a support role in your local district office. So that's good to know. Now, when you get to $20,000 in career sales, you can apply to become a part of our events team. And our events team is pretty phenomenal. And this is something that you can do, Sheridan, while you're on key staff, while you're an assistant manager. You can do it all at the same time. It just allows you access here. So our events team got shut down last year for obvious reasons, right? COVID happened, hit us in the face. They were not able to sell because we did all of these booths. Any of you guys ever been to a farmer's market? The Del Mar Fair, Tia, you might know what I'm talking about, right? San Diego Fair, LA, like any of those big ones where they have booths and they sell things. We're at all of those. And we work 100+ events a year, and we do service events. And so it's a great way where people come up, Daniel, and what do they want to do? They go, oh, Cutco, I want to buy Cutco. Here's my credit card, right? Something to that effect. So it's a really amazing opportunity to sell a lot more. So how much do you have to be at in career sales to go? At least 20 grand. All right. Then you can apply to get on our events team. So there's like another level that you can start doing. And all of our top end sales reps are a part of our events team. Okay. So there's another opportunity that you can, get excited about for the future. After that is our branch manager opportunity. Our branch manager opportunity is our most coveted, most sought after. This is the opportunity for us that I am most proud of that we have. And our company is, I think, pretty phenomenal for taking steps to be able to do this. So I don't know how old all of you are, but most of our branch managers this summer are somewhere between 18 and 21 years old. It is our student entrepreneurial internship experience. I don't know if any of you have ever thought about running a business before, but a lot of people that want to learn to become an entrepreneur don't know where to start. So this is a great way for them to learn. And our branch managers are responsible for building their team. And they're a manager for the summertime between their their spring and fall semesters. Okay. So they open up their offices and then they shut down at the end of the summer and go back to school. Okay. So I have Eric Arias. He started with us last summer. He sold $50,000. He was our #1 TLA candidate. Very impressive. He goes to Walla Walla University studying business out there. He worked through our academy and trained to run an office. Eric, I think he's still 18 actually, or maybe just 19. He's running his own Cutco sales team this summer, and he's running the Palm Springs branch market. And so he earned that spot, and it's an amazing internship for our students to be able to do. Now, this is also something that you can do even if you never want to run a business. It's something for people that want to get experience that stands out on the resume, that makes them look different than the rest. It's our premier opportunity, elite resume experience, and it really sets our students apart. So you can imagine, Matthew, if in a couple of years from now, if you ran your own branch organization, imagine how you would stack up to your peers when you're interviewing against them in the job search, right? Think about what the average student does for work. The branch manager position is why people are craving that, so that way they can set themselves apart. It is not for everybody, but anybody can go for it. You with me on that? So it's not necessarily for everybody, but everybody can go for it. So if this is even something that's a light bulb for you, hey, that's kind of interesting. This is not something that happens for anybody this summer, obviously. But I put on here 2022, Sheridan, 2023, 2020. I don't know, but it's just nice to know that that might be there. We actually could run your entire team. So we train our members on how to do that, and they build their team from scratch. We call it taking the leap, where they're trying, anybody that wants to earn more leadership, get more experience, go on an adventure, right? Something a little bit different, very different than what most students do, and then have the most amazing personal growth opportunity possible. Tiaja, if this was you, you would be working with, tens, if not hundreds of different people in a summertime, like that exposure. You would interview them, you would hire them, you would help to train them. You would coach them, just like Kaylin's coaching you right now. You would create new leadership academy members in the South Coast Division. You'd create leaders. Yeah, it's so cool to see that happen for our branch manager growth. So we got 5 of those this summer, and it's really exciting. So anyway, I just put this like, hey, Nicholas, next summer, maybe, I don't know. There's a lot to earn between now and then. Just cool to know that it's there. And obviously, it's a lucrative opportunity as well, right? This is an opportunity where our branch managers can earn somewhere between $10,000 to $30,000 in a summertime, and our top performers, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 in a summertime of income. So it can be really lucrative for our students that perform at a high level. This is Leilani Turla. I'm super proud of this young woman. This woman actually started with me 4.5 years ago, right when she got out of high school, when she went to Preuss in San Diego. And everything that I just talked about, she went through the whole thing, everything. She went through the academy, assistant manager, the whole process, and she earned her spot to become a branch manager. So this is her opening up her first office. I think she is 20 years old in this picture, I want to say, maybe just 20. And so she had her own office space, her own people in the Temecula market. And then she did such a good job about that actually Miss Davis, she ran the South San Diego branch last summer. We had a branch in South San Diego. This year is a district, a full-time career position with Mr. Kalin, but she is so great. She's one of our senior branch managers. She graduated from UCSD with honors. She's just about to get done with like her last finals basically right now, last quarter. And then she's going off into the quote real world, you know, and she's so excited about being vector trained. She just sent me a message about TLA and what she's learned along the way. It's just pretty incredible to see what goes on with these people as they grow with us. And so for a lot of people, this idea resonates with them. It's like, hey, Matthew, what would you rather do? Work 30, 40, 50 years at the same job, you know, build up over time to eventually make a 6-figure income, which, you know, is kind of like the mark of excellence for a lot of people. Or would you rather work extra hard when you're young, Matthew? Would you rather work extra hard for 3 months or extra hard for a year to put yourself in a position that you actually become more valuable to the marketplace so you can earn that a lot more quickly? And some people really resonate with the second part of that slide. And so that's what it's all about, right? Getting people to get a chance to advance themselves. Now, the next position here is the division office manager. Right now, my division office manager is Jeremy Blau. So, you know, Miss Sheridan, this is who you're working with. Jeremy runs my San Diego office because as a division manager, I'm helping manage all of the 17 offices in our organization, but he runs the show in San Diego and is typically the division's #1 candidate. This person, by the way, is somebody that's typically already ran a branch, and I'm basically plucking the #1 candidate that I'm going to spend all my time with. They become my right-hand man or woman. Okay, so like Lindsay Lendhurst was my Dom for a while. I've had several Doms, division office managers. It's basically a year position for the most part, and they learn under my training, right? They're my right-hand person, my #1 mentee that I'm training them on how to do everything in the business for so they can become a district manager. So our current Dom will be in that role for about 5 more months or so before he'll be deploying as a district manager, and then I'll be filling that role with our next candidate. So that is really far away from all of you right now, right? There's a lot of things that need to happen between now and then, but that's the one person that I work with every year, okay? And then where will you be 1 year from today? So I just love to ask this question, the power of 1 year, and you just think about that, Nicholas, if you were to put in the time here with Cutco. Will you be here in 1 year, Nicholas? I mean, I don't know. We don't know that answer yet, but I know that for the people that put in the effort, they find it to be worth it for themselves. If they can make their resume outstanding, they can work towards becoming a 5-star recruit. So that's some of those opportunities there. I'm going to talk a little bit about post-collegiate real quick, and then I'll answer any questions or take some light bulbs. So we really talk about Cutco through college, right? This is our program that we really promote all the time. This doesn't mean that somebody's required to go through and work with us for that long. But sometimes we have people coming into our organization, just graduating from high school. Maybe they're a freshman or sophomore in college, and they decide that this is a great place to be while they're in school. And that's good. And some of you may decide that and be with us more long-term. And I love that opportunity for y'all. But the idea that you can continue to grow, Matthew, with lots of different roles. Daniel, you can experience a lot of different variety of roles while you're here, really rounds out your resume. And also, I think a lot of people love the ideas. I don't know how many jobs you have all had, but there's something different from having your job resume look wide versus your job resume looking deep. like, hey, I've been at this organization for a long time and my experience is deep in that organization. I actually moved up the ranks. As a employer, I find that way more enticing, right? To hire someone like that versus someone that's had 10 different kind of random jobs and has a lot of different experience. I'm looking for that person that's got the deeper resume. So a lot of people resonate with that. A great example of that is who's on this Zoom chat. That's Lindsay. Lindsay, when did you start? What was your year that you started selling Cutco?
February 2015.
February 2015, right? So Lindsay's in her 6th year now, it looks like. That's kind of nice to see. Lindsay's a great example of Cutco through college, okay? So you can see Lindsay with her friend there, Lindsay with her first office and her key. Maybe that was the one that was in, which office was that for?
Temecula.
Is that the Temecula office? Okay, cool. I like that. And then there's a picture of us there, Lindsay winning a trophy at our conference in Vegas that we have at the end of the summertime. So Lindsay started with us in 2015, was going to San Diego State and worked her whole way through college and basically did every role that I just explained and succeeded at those roles. And because of that was promoted to be running the district office. So those of you, a handful of you that are in Riverside, you get the privilege of working with Lindsay. She's awesome, very talented manager, very talented leader in our organization. And she is a perfect example. She graduated from school early, just got on a fast path and took on the district manager role. And now Riverside is poised for some greatness this year, which I'm excited about that as well. Another great example, that's Matt Graves. Matt Graves is one of my CSPs. He's one of my Cutco sales professionals. I used to actually run the Temecula district office, and Matt was one of my first recruits from that summer in 2008. And him and I have been working together since 2008. I've really seen him grow and change and build his business. And so he's another great example. He was going to Cal State San Marcos and playing baseball, and he just decided this was a great place for him, experience-wise and income-wise. And now he's one of the top income earners in our company, which is really cool to see that happening for them. This one might be screenshot worthy if you have the ability on your computer, Shift Apple 5 if you got a Mac, but this is a typical collegiate path. All right. So this, Daniel, would be your first summer. It's all about selling. It's all about getting your skills. It's about earning a spot. When I say earning a spot, TAJ, I'm talking about TLA. Earn your spot for the TLA. That's how you know your summer went well. Like I earned that spot in Evans Academy. And then the assistant manager position is oftentimes earned in that process as well. Then through the fall and springtime, they're training and they're learning in our academy and they're growing. They learn about how to run a business. And the second summer, they get an opportunity to branch and build a business, which is really great. After that summer, they go back to school and they go through our academy again because our academy changes and evolves every year. So they're constantly adding on new skills and knowledge. Then some people decide to branch again. There are senior branch managers like Miss Leilani Turla, I just showed you. And now they're not just trying to build a business. Now they're trying to grow a business. You can imagine what that looks like on a resume, right, Nicholas? Like, hey, I was a branch manager one summer. I did okay. But I went back and I did the next summer. And here's how I grew my business, right? That is immensely impactful on a resume experience. And then when people get done, they can become a district manager or a full-time sales professional with us, which is CSP, is Cutco Sales Professional. Okay. Or Tiaja, you become a 5-star. You become such a stud, A player, right? That you're like, well, Evan, I'm taking my talents elsewhere, right? I'm going to go get in my dream job. I'm going to go get into the field that I want to get into, right? And for those of you that are really big talent, Sheridan, if you're a 5-star, you better believe I'm going to come after you, right? I'm going to try to recruit you. I could pay you no better compliment than trying to recruit you. If you're like, hey, Evan's kind of coming after me. He wants me like in a top role in his organization. It's like, that is such a good thing to know because I want to go after the best people, right? I want to retain our best talent. So anyway, this again, Matthew, this isn't perfect. This isn't everybody's path. I'm just saying like this would be like an ideal path for people, right? If they were going through our process as they were learning and growing in college with us. Okay, so very positive to see that in people's pursuit of this. That's the goal. And so now when we have exchanges, you're going to see a lot of things with me, right? So now you guys will know what those hashtags are, right? So Tiaja, you're messaging me and we go back and forth this summer. I'll go, hey, earn your spot. Earn your spot. Our hashtag TLA, it's CTC, it's Cutco through college. We're also talking about being vector trained and what that means to learn all these skills while you're here. And you can see our brick by brick, and the train, if any of you are wondering, is I'm not really a big fan of motivation. I don't know how any of you all feel about it, but I feel like motivation is pretty fleeting. I'm a really big fan of momentum. It's hard to get a train, big ass train, to go from 0 to 40 miles an hour. but it's a lot easier to get one to go from 40 to 60 once it's already going. So momentum in life, I believe, is everything. So as far as our post-collegiate opportunities, very briefly here, we have our Cutco sales position. These are our professionals. They're done with school typically. They don't have to go to school. A degree is not required, in case anybody's wondering, but it's an independent selling position, career selling opportunity. I would liken this to, does anybody know someone who's a real estate agent, loan officer? They sell insurance for a living. They're an independent contract. They work for themselves. Like that's kind of what this job is. That's how I look at that. And it's or someone that does pharmaceutical sales is another good example. Like when they get done with college and they start doing that, very lucrative opportunity for them. If any of you are looking for infinite flexibility and income, this is a great thing to focus on, because Sheridan, all these people make 50%. You know, some of the CSPs in our company last week sold $30,000 worth of Cutco. They made 15 grand last week. Like that's outrageous, right? That's so much for them to make. But it's really cool to know that there's an opportunity that's really lucrative. Part of our Fair and Show team, sell to real estate agents, be part of our military program. So we got a bunch of different levels here, Daniel, if you decide to stick around, that you can actually do it as a post-collegiate job. So our CSP opportunity is manyfold. Here's some of our CSPs in our division right now with their career sales listed under there. So you'll see some of their names on the report. You might not see them at the team meeting immediately, but a lot of them have been working with our company for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 or more years. The man on the bottom right here is Adam Sobieski. Him and I went to high school together. Nicholas, remember how I was talking about, hey, you should build a team. You should be a team builder. Well, this is my PR. I got him into the job, right? And him and I have been, now he lives down the street from me. And now he works on our team in South Coast Division. And it's so great to work with my best friend like that. So really cool to see that happen. So share the opportunity. And then if you can write this down in your notes, CGC, this isn't really available to any of you yet, but CGC is a closing gift consultant. A closing gift consultant. And it's another aspect of our position where these certified Cutco reps, once they get qualified to do this, are able to sell to real estate agents and loan officers as a gifting concept. Some of you may be familiar with that when you buy a house, usually the real estate agent will give you a gift. If they're any good, usually they'll give you a little something. But now we've transitioned that and then buying Cutco in bulk for people repeatedly, which is really, really great. So this is selling business to business. It's typically done something post-collegiate and obviously has a solid income opportunity that goes along with it, right? I'd say anywhere from $75,000 to $300,000 a year, depending on what they produce. Then our district manager opportunity is also one of our top premier opportunities as well. And this is the one that I'm partial to because I was a district manager, and we have a lot of great district managers in our division, like Miss Jordan Farber, right? Our new district manager in Chino, right? This is our career position, Jordan. You know that. This is Vector's MBA. This is like getting done with school and then learning how to do business by doing business, not reading it in a book, it's doing it. And this is great entrepreneurship, and scaling a business is phenomenal to be able to learn how to do this and work with people. I kind of liken this to, I think our district managers are like just really highly paid teachers. You know, like teachers don't make enough, period, the end, right? But our district managers, all they're doing is training and teaching their sales reps, just like Matthew, Lindsay's pouring into you. Here's how you close, here's how you get recs, here's how you, they're teaching and training you. They just have a more lucrative opportunity than your average teacher there. So the DM opportunity is great. You don't have to be here, by the way, Sheridan, for 4 years to take on this role. Even for you, you might be like, I'm not doing school, I don't need to do that. Well, then you can talk about, hey, how do I get in that position more quickly? If you're looking for a career to start earlier, they get all kinds of perks like travel, and they get BMW, and they get a chance to travel all kinds of cool places for our company trips. Here's some of the places that we've been. I've been to some of these with Lindsay, and that's great. I'm looking to trips with Jordan here coming up, which is good. We a couple years ago went to Grand Cayman. Last year we went to Paris. Right before COVID hit, we got back. Thank goodness, right? We were all able to get back from Europe, which is good. And then next year, this is our trip. We're going to Australia and New Zealand. So pretty kick butt opportunities there. Our branch managers and district managers, CSPs and CGCs all get a chance to qualify for this trip. Pretty cool. And that's how they're doing it this year anyway. So the last thing I'll say here before I take light bulbs and questions is this. I am looking for A players. no doubt about it, right? I definitely want to work with the best of the best in my division, and we want to help people get there. If you don't feel like you're there yet, that's no problem at all, right? But we always have people come in that go, hey, I know I'm going to kick butt at this job, and if you are that A player, we definitely want to help you do exceptionally well here. But no matter what, I'm going to encourage you all to get on my radar and stay on my radar. So what's going to happen, Sheridan, this summertime? I'm going to have an SLDM in like 4 weeks, and there's going to be like 45 people here or 50. And then I'm going to run another one, and there's going to be like another 50. Like we're just going to explode. We have 17 organizations that are going to explode in recruiting this summertime with people looking for summer work. So Nicholas, I'm going to encourage you, man, stay on the radar. Matthew, stay on the radar. Daniel, stay on the radar, right? So I'll talk today about how to like chirp the chat, how to stay connected with me, what's the appropriate way to do that. So that way I can just make sure I'm paying attention to Mr. Hurtado. You know what I'm saying? Right? So that way you don't get lost in the mix, because there's so many people that are going to be vying for spots. There's going to be more people interviewing for our TLA than earn the TLA, obviously, right? Just like everybody that applies to Harvard doesn't get in there, right? That's not necessarily going to be the case. But you want to make sure you have your name in the hat so you get a chance to compete and vie for a spot. I'll tell you this, CPO talks in a big way. CPO talks big. And so I'm looking for people. This is the sales leadership development meeting. So we want Carla to lead with sales, right? I know you're right at that like 10K mark. I think you're pretty close to that mark, knocking on the door. It's like, well, go get that next 10K and that next 10K and that next 10K, And so keep doing that, because that's a way to really get on the radar. And then when you think about all the opportunities, where can you be 1 year from today, Daniel, right? You maybe you're a leader in the Riverside office, maybe you're running your own branch, right? Maybe you're on track to be TLA round 2. Maybe you're on track to be one of our districtors. I just don't know, but it's so cool to know that there's a lot of opportunity there. So hopefully there's some light bulbs for you there on that. It is 4 o'clock. So I'm actually going to stop right here for a second before I go into teaching for content. I'd like to go around the horn. You don't have to feel obligated to go necessarily, but I'd love to hear some feedback from you all. So you can do one of two things here. You can share a light bulb with me. So if you look back at your notes real quick, what's something that stood out for you? What's something that caught your eye? What's something that you didn't know that we had? And now that you do, like, oh, that's enticing. That's interesting to you. Or something that like, hey, I got to have a conversation with my manager about that. Like, I need to talk about making a path. So those are all good things, right? Any kind of light bulb is great. You can share that, or if anybody has a question. Evan, could you go a little bit more into like, what does an assistant manager do? Or like a little more clarity on the branch manager. Like if you want a little something more there, we have a little bit of time built into that. So we can spend a couple minutes doing this real quick. Then we're going to do a hard jump into recommendations and selling at a big level, right? So that way you're going to get that kind of stuff today. So we got a small enough group, so you can just unmute, give a little wave, something like that is good. And then I can call on you, and we'll go from there. So what's a light bulb and or question or something you want? Bless you, Miss Davis. Anything else you want more clarity on while y'all are here? Yeah, go ahead, Sheridan.
All right, so one of my light bulbs is to hit that TLA goal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's very interesting. And since I started this job to kind of get my foot in the door with marketing, I think that's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. So I actually love how I'm sorry if I cut you off. Was there something else?
You're good.
I love how you said foot in the door, because the next thing I was going to tell you all is like worth putting in your notes next to TLA is that opens the door for everything. Like TLA opens the door for like anything that I just went over right there. Like that is the starting point. Anybody who is any significant portion of our organization have gone through our academy. And some of them, they've gone through 2, 3, 4, 5 times, to learn and grow. So thank you for saying that. Who else has something, light bulb and or question?
Hi. Oh.
No, go ahead, sister, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a question, like kind of like a personal question for you.
I mean,
so
depends on how personal it is, but yeah, sure, as long as it's for the group.
It's not that personal.
Okay.
So I did Cutco, like I know you said you started working at Cutco after you graduated, you're like 18, I would say. Did Cutco ever like influence your career in any way?
Meaning like my career choice, like which direction I was going to go. Because I mean, obviously I've been here the entire time. So like, certainly this ended up being a career for me. But I think what the thing I got most clarity on is that once I started to get paid for my value instead of my time, that was a huge like mental shift for me. And so there's nothing wrong with an hourly job or salary position, like absolutely, like nothing wrong with that. But for me, this job, that's influenced me the most, right? If I knew that I got better, I could improve and actually shift my income. That made me stay here. And then when I got a chance to start impacting like coaching as an assistant manager, and I kept like working up the ladder like that, then I knew that I wanted to like run and build out sales teams and help people in the organization. So it just kind of became natural for me. And then I shift my role from like my finance degree to go like, work at a hedge fund or something like that, to doing this. So that's, yeah. So good question. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Carla, were you going to ask something maybe?
I sure was. First of all, I apologize for jumping out. I got interrupted and I wanted to be able to give you my full attention and not be a distraction on the screen. So my apologies for jumping out. I'm from the San Diego Dynasty team. My name doesn't say that because I just jumped in from another meeting and I had to have this name. So my question, I'm great at showing Cutco and I'm great at showing people the value of them, but I'm better at guiding and teaching. And I think maybe that's what attracts me about Cutco is that I have a chance to do both. I'm wondering though, if I were to take a leadership role, let's say that I was maybe a district manager or was to move forward in leadership, would that necessarily need to be a full-time thing, a full-time commitment? Or is that something that I can do in conjunction with some of the other ways that I'm living my dream?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I guess I'll answer like this for now, and maybe we could discuss more at dinner tonight.
Yeah.
Since I'll see you in 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think probably the best short answer for this right now is traditionally no. Traditionally, the district manager role is like a career. I'm building a business. So being anywhere on a fence, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, like won't serve a building properly of a business.
Right.
But I'm also intrigued by doing things differently, right? And I'm also intrigued by ways that we could figure it out. So I think for now, the easiest answer is like typically no, but anything is possible, right? And so a lot of new roles, especially how we work now,
right,
compared to how we did before,
right,
it may be a possibility. So
I was just curious.
Not only that, but even like a CGC role or a CSP, like those types of things, still provide some opportunities to coach and train as well.
Right.
So yeah, let's dive deeper on that.
Yeah, I'm working on that CGC team. I'm pestering them every chance I get.
Yeah,
they're either going to say yes or disconnect my cable just to shut me up.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. What about any of you gentlemen? Any questions there or light bulbs for any of you? No, don't feel obligated to go, but Daniel, go ahead, man.
One of my light bulbs is that I'll probably make a plan with my manager because the assistant manager spot really intrigued me, and it's something I would like to push for soon and reach there soon.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Yeah, so then you just talk with Lindsay, like well, obviously Lindsay's on, so she's hearing you say this, but for any of you right now, what I would tell you to do, but when I start the next section, anything that was intriguing to you, anything, period, the end, like TLA Sheridan, like Jeremy should get a message, like, hey, everyone's talking about TLA, let's make a plan. Miss Davis, you should say, Kaylin, okay, so I'm one of the first reps here in South San Diego. That means there's no assistant managers. That means that spot's mine, right? Like you can say, Kaylin, let's make a plan to do that. I'm feeling this, anything you want, like Nicholas, you want something, go get it, be assertive for it. And your managers are not mind readers. So like, we don't know what you want. I don't know what Carla wants unless we're having a dialogue or we're having a conversation. So that's why I would say that's a great place to start to just get that going. Key staff, man, if you're not on key staff, what do I need to do to get on key staff? So message your manager that. And so what do you need to see from me to be impressive in that way? Like send those messages now while you're thinking about it, strike while the iron is hot, and then they can help you do that. Okay, so for the last section for today, We are going to, let me see here. Actually, hey, Jordan, could you do me a favor real quick? I'm just going to run and grab my water bottle. And so that way I don't have complete silence during my SLDM. Could you just introduce yourself too? Because you didn't really get a chance to as well. And how'd you hear about the job? Where you from? And I will be right back.
Cool. All right. So my name is Jordan. I'm the Chino district manager. I heard about the position from a couple of my teammates. And these are people that they were from earlier. So back in college, a couple of my teammates, I just got a message and I was like, all right, I'll try it out. And I tried it out and it just worked out super duper well. To be honest, I had a pretty slow start, but then I kind of started figuring out how it works and started figuring out the different leadership opportunities there were. And I really got pretty fired up about everything that was going on. And I soon got promoted to assistant manager, then sales manager, and then now I'm a district manager. And it's been pretty exciting. It's very fun. I'll say that much. It's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun.
Nice, beautiful. Thank you for bailing me out right there as well too. That was great. Super helpful. All right, cool. All right, so 2 topics, recommendations, and we're going to talk about increasing your average sale. So we have about 50 minutes until we get finished. This next part is like heavy note taking for sure. Probably will not be a lot of time for questions. So just because I'm gonna give you a lot of stuff right now, okay, that you can do. And one of the things I prided myself on when I was a new rep was recommendations. Like I wanted more of those than anything else. In fact, I never had really the largest average order. You know, I wasn't the guy always having $500, $700 average order and things like that, but I was darn good at getting recommendations. And I quickly, after coming to my first SLDM, whatever that was, 18 years ago, I made some obvious shifts in my recommendation game. And so I was averaging, 8 to 10 when I was new in my fast start. And then after that, it was getting like 10s, 12s, 13s, 15s, like on average. And then I was getting a lot of customers to give me 20, 30, 40, 50. I've had several customers give me over 100 recommendations before. And so those types of things, you can imagine, Sheridan, like one client gave you 50 recommendations. That changes the game, and I think a good thing for all of you to write down to start about our concept about recommendations is you're one customer away from blowing it up. And I mean that in the most positive way. So Daniel, you're one customer away from that lady giving you 33 recommendations, and that sends you on a train that you go down. So even if Sheridan was like, Jeremy, I literally have one more person to call. I got one person on my list. That person could be the one that could link you up. All right. The other thing I want to let you know is that having people to call is as much about resources as it is about a mindset. So there's a lot of people that feel like I don't have a lot of recommendations to call, but they never actually put in the time and the mindset to go, I'm going to build it as big as I can. You all probably have people you're nervous to call on your list. Yes or yes, for sure, right? Like I had people, we call those your chicken customers and stuff like that, right? People you're just like, nah, I'm not going to call that person. But you know what, Miss Davis, if you are truly honest about it and you literally work, let's say for one day, you committed for one day and you're going to go, I'm going to write down the name and telephone number of any Mac I've ever come in contact with in my entire life, no matter how well I know them or whatever. It would not surprise me if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 500, right? Like it wouldn't surprise me. That doesn't mean you're going to see them all, but that's what I mean when I say it's like a mentality. Now, Daniel, I don't expect you to call every person that you know. In fact, Nicholas, you're going to get outside of your general network pretty quickly, and you're going to start seeing people you've never met, which is beautiful to do. But a mistake that I see a lot of new reps make is they fail to understand building a critical mass. Okay. And so that idea is if I just call 10 people and then I dive into those recs really quick and my skills aren't there, I'm actually depleting it more quickly, right? It would be like trying to start a fire with only like the paper to start it, right? You didn't put the kindling on and layer the other wood and the other wood and the other wood until it was what? this roaring fire. And so that's where you want to get it to. And so that's why I would say, Sheridan, like you might want to go deep on the list, you know, and most people are pretty nervous to call people on their list because they're afraid of some judgment, right? Like I was nervous to call people, Matthew, because I'm like, I haven't talked to this lady in years, and now I'm just going to hit her up for some knives. Like this is a little strange, you know, and I didn't want her to think that about me. But at the end of the day, my general experience, once I got the courage, Daniel, to call them, 95% of my interactions were beautiful. And even if they didn't say yes, they were super, super cool about it. And you know what, Tiedra, when I saw them like a month later at a barbecue, it wasn't weird. They weren't like, how dare you? You called me about a demonstration that you got paid. How dare you? Like I didn't have any of those, but we worked this all up in our heads. So if you got nothing else and that's a light bulb that you needed to hear today, Nicholas, like just call them because they'll probably be glad to hear from you. And if you don't call them, you know who's going to probably call them? Nicholas. Daniel's probably going to call them, right? Because you might get referred to that lady. You know, Carla's like, I'll call them. I don't care. You know, so that mentality I think is really important. So it's equally as much of your mentality as it's actually of the resource. Okay, so I think that's a helpful place to start. Okay, something else that I want to discuss about this is I'm going to give you some general tips here. Okay, this first one will be really quick. One of the most challenging parts about the demo is actually for a lot of people when they're new is the rapport building. It's the beginning, and you might go, hey, I actually know how to do that. Like I know, hey, Sheridan, how's your day? How many kids you have? How's the husband, right? How's work going? Like you might feel like you're good at small talk. However, when the part that I find new people have a little bit of a trouble with is going from small talk to now I'm going to sell you something. I don't know if anybody can relate to how awkward that is during the demo. Some of you, okay, the fact that you're nodding at me lets me know that, where Sheridan's like, yes, Evan, this is very awkward for me, right? Where they almost look at you, Sheridan, and they're like, what the hell have you gotten yourself into, right? What have you joined here, you know? And they kind of look at you in a way where they don't take you seriously. And I want to help make an adjustment on that. And we'll talk about how this actually leads to getting more recommendations. So I'm going to give you a strategy for this that's implementable. So you can write this down in your notes. But when we talk about rapport building, remember rapport, Matthew, is not small talk. Rapport is about connection, okay? And if the customer is connected to you, they're much more likely to refer, right? Daniel, if you're a likable guy, you'll actually get more recommendations, right? Now, if any of you haven't been getting recommendations, does that mean that you're not likable? I don't know. Are you likable? Right? So like you want to be the type of person that they want to recommend. So we're going to talk about that today. So why do people give us recommendations? Well, there's two reasons: that they like Cutco and they like you. Period, right? They like Cutco, willing enough to recommend it, and they like you. How do you make sure that they like Cutco, Daniel? And just show it to them. It's awesome, right? It's forever guaranteed, American made. Like it's incredible. Now, I want to talk today about how to make them like you, right? How to make them like you. And so that's a little bit of a trickier part. That's a little more advanced and some nuance to it, but I want to make sure we're good in that area. Also, in general, at this point, at this meeting, I don't care how new you are, you want to kind of start shifting into this as going from, sometimes when people are new, like Tiaja, you might have thought about like, I'm just trying this out. But when people shift from that to like, this is my job and I'm going to be good at my job. I'm not going to be here for 5 years. That's okay. But this is my job. So I really want to get good at my job, right? So that mentality and that shift for people helps them. And so my question for you is, how well do you know the product? Right? So when you do a demonstration, is your demonstration, Matthew, good? Is it solid? Is it knowledgeable? Most of the time when you're practicing your demo, who are you practicing your demo on? Your customer, right? What about practicing it when you're not with them? So it doesn't feel like you're practicing on them, right? Your demo is actually good when they see it. How about knowing about all the product? We have a website, you guys and gals, called cutco.com. And you know what? A bunch of you have never been to it before. Have you? You didn't even know. You're like, oh yeah, they probably have a website named after their product. You know, you've never been there before, but like knowing that's important. Now you're not using that shared on your demos, but like just being knowledgeable and educated on that's important. Nicholas, can you tell me the difference between a homemaker and a signature set? Matthew, can you tell me the difference between a signature set and an ultimate set? And what's the difference between a table knife and a steak knife? And why do I need a boning knife versus a petite slicer versus the full size slicer? You guys got 4 different cheese knives. Why are there 4? Right? Do you have those answers for those people so that way you're the knife pro? Because now, Tasia, they want to recommend you more to people because you actually know what you're talking about. Now, if you're like, hey, Evan, take it easy on me. I started 4 days ago. Fine. But how long should I take it easy on you now that I've brought this up? Right? So that idea, like I expect my kids to make reasonable progress in reasonable time. And I expect that the same thing for sales reps on the team, right? So keep that in mind when you're doing that, and practicing on your demo outside of your demo is very valuable. The people that get paid the most in our society, some of the people that get paid the most, like athletes, right? Actors, those types of things. How long is an athlete on the field? 60 minutes. How long do they spend training and prepping for that? So if that might be a light bulb for you, where it's like, I need to spend more time rehearsing than I actually am playing in the game. So that way, if I'm good when I'm rehearsing, I'm going to be better in my demos. So that's key. So when it comes to rapport building, I want to come back to the slide here. I'm going to talk about how to open the demo. So here's the strategy. Okay. So when Carla is doing this and she's transitioning to her demo, she doesn't have to just jump right into this and make it awkward for the client. So this is basically a scientific way to do this. All right. So the first one is, if you can imagine, Nicholas, that you're about to start your demo. Okay. All right, Ms. Jones. All right, ready? Let's get started. And then it says to stop your demo after that. So here's a psychological thing that's happening. Sheridan, when you start your demo, there's a wall that goes up for your customer, right? Now it's kind of you versus them. You're the sales rep, they're the customer. And have you guys ever felt that from a client where they're kind of like, all right, I'm not going to buy anything. You guys have heard this before. Okay, I told you you're just practicing today, right? And the wall is up. I want to bring the wall down. Okay, I want to bring the wall down before I start my demo. So the concept here would be to start your demo and then stop. Okay, so it'd look a little something like this. I'd say, all right, Daniel, you and your wife ready to get started? Okay, let me just bring up my slides here for a moment. Actually, you know what? And I'll stop. Because when I start, that means I'm starting business. When I stop my screen share, what am I doing? I'm putting business where? Aside. It's like over here now. And now I'm more humanized. And so what you're going to do is you're going to go through this process, Carla, with your client. You can say, hey, by the way, I just want to say thank you. This should be genuine, authentic, and sincere. And usually it looks some kind of rendition of, I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day. I know things are busy. I know life is crazy. Mrs. Jones, I'm working hard to do my demonstrations, right? And this is something that means a lot to me. Okay, whatever that is. Hey, Miss Sheridan, by the way, have you ever heard of Cutco before? I don't remember what you said. Now we're kind of like we're just making a nice smooth transition to the product. What if Sheridan, what if Sheridan says, I've never heard of Cutco before? I'm going to go, right, your reaction matters. So I'm going to go, oh my gosh, okay, perfect. I'm so excited to show this to you today. It is amazing stuff. You're totally going to get a kick out of it. Now your customer is starting to get on that side. We're like, I have interest in where it's at. If they say yes, then it's like, all right, Nicholas, awesome. So you already know how good it is. I can't wait to show it to you again. Plus there's some new stuff too. Now, what we say here is this helps bring the wall down. So Sheridan will say, well, by the way, Mrs. Jones, just so you know, I'm not a knife salesperson, right? So this is kind of like lowering this wall now that they're not dealing with this smooth, suave salesperson that's like this professional closer type, et cetera. It's breaking down this psychological barrier with your customer. And then here's an opportunity for you to share why you're working. So I need Sheridan for you as your to-do list from this event is you coming up with a compelling reason to share with your client why you're working. So what is your compelling reason, Nicholas, for being here? And what I would encourage you to do is avoid things that have to do with income, because those aren't necessarily inspiring to the customer, and everybody wants to make income. All right. So for me, I'll give you examples. For me, I said, Mrs. Jones, I'm working because I can get internship credits. Cutco has a scholarship. You all learned about new stuff today. I just went to this special sales leadership development meeting with my DVM, Evan Keller. He talked about the Leadership Academy, and I'm fighting hard to get on his radar, to get in the Leadership Academy so I can gain my skills while I'm at this age, right? So you can plug those things that are already in there that I just shared with all of you. I also shared with them about paying for college on my own, right? So that's a little bit of an income thing, but I said, I'm trying to graduate debt free. That's why I'm working really hard right now. And I'm trying to meet a lot of people. So just seeing you today, Miss Carla, helps a ton, right? So I'm letting them know like why I'm working and what's meaningful to me. And then the last part I say to my client is, hey, Mrs. Carla, do you mind if I shared some of my goals with you? Do you mind if I shared some of my goals with you? And then you can go about doing this. All right. Now, I know a lot of people are doing the interactive demo. Maybe Lindsay, you could chime in or not. If I'm on an interactive demo, could I share something else on my screen?
No idea.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll figure it out. What I'm going to share with you right now, we just had made some adjustments for the interactive demo. So when I give that to you right now, you might implement this in a little bit of a different way, but at least get the concept down. So I'm going to share all these slides with all of you so you can make a copy of them. These next like brick of 6 slides I'm going to show you, and you can make them your own. So this is what I had this in a physical way on a demo at a client's house, because I did all my demos in the client's house. Now in the virtual world, we can screen share and we got slides. So easy to do. So I shared my goals with my customers. So I had this little about me page, right? So I can share my family, okay? I can share my boo, okay? As you can see, I went to school for business, Marquette University, et cetera, et cetera. So I tell a little bit about me, okay? Then when I get done with that, I can share my personal goals, right? I like to eat, a bit of a foodie, business. I want to travel. I want to buy my first house, whatever makes sense for all of you. Okay. So you would plug in your own personal stuff here. Then there's a nice picture here for all of you. So that way, Sheridan, you can just boom, the Leadership Academy picture is right there. So you can just talk about that. If you're a college student, you can talk about winning the All-American. Okay. So boosting your resume. Then you can also have a place where you can share your goals. So of course you can edit these. The key right here, Nicholas, is 2 things. Is you can say, my goal is to get introduced to 1,000 new people. So this is a nugget right here. This is like I'm planting this seed early. I want to get introduced to 1,000 new people. And my long-term Cutco goal is blank, right? Maybe you want to run a branch someday. Okay. So you have that on there. And then right here, you'll see a variety, like 3 different thermometers. They're all the same. They're just duplicates. You can make it your own. We have push periods that are coming up, but in this part, you can actually put your goal, and then you can fill up the thermometer, right, on where you're at for your goal. So you can share that with your client, and you can show them that every sale helps and matters. Okay. And this last one you'll all find really helpful is for the automatic sponsorship. Okay. When we do free Cutco and hook people up, when you get your sponsors, you can actually type your customers' names in here who sponsored you. So now you have extra evidence to show all the other people that have helped you. So this is a great visual tool to say, hey, Armando and Cheryl helped me a bunch of times. They hooked me up with a lot of people. Julie and Sandra and Claudia did. And Carla, I hope you can be one of my sponsors today as well too. You don't even have to buy anything to be a sponsor. I'll show you how you can help me out with that at the end. Right. So you're planting these little seeds for that along the way. So that way they understand that process. Okay. Are we okay right there? So rapport building, just a quick review on this. This is something worth rehearsing and practicing, but it's this part. Tiaja, you start your demo. All right, Miss Jones, you ready? Okay, actually, no, pull the screen down. Just kidding, Miss Jones. I just want to thank you. Right? Have you ever heard of Cutco before? By the way, I'm not a knife salesperson. Okay, Miss Jones. You guys know me. I've known you from church forever. But the reason why I'm working with Cutco is because of blank, 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 blank. And then, hey, would you mind if I shared some of my goals with you? And so you just incorporate this into the beginning of your demo so you'll have a smoother start to it. All right. So again, I will give you these slides so you'll be good to go, but we'll go from there. All right. The next thing that I'm going to teach you about recommendations today is the magic phrase. Okay. So one of the reasons why people struggle with recommendations is you surprise your client. Okay. And the average Mac customer does not like to be surprised. Okay. They want to know what's coming. They want to know what's there. And some people like surprises, but you know, I always hated getting to the end of my demo. I don't know if any of you have experienced this before, but they get to the part where you start asking them for recommendations and they're like surprised that you're asking, or they're like, how are you asking me for recommendation? I didn't know that was a part of it. And you're not getting it in their face in the beginning of the demo. So you want to plant seeds early. That's worth writing down. I'm planting recommendation seeds all over the place in my demo. But Sheridan, like a really easy example is if you were to see your auntie and your auntie referred you to a friend from church, and you got to like your aunt's favorite knife in the demo, the butcher knife. Oh yeah, my aunt, you know, when she recommended me to you, she thought you might like this one too. This is her favorite knife as well. Like you're dropping these seeds about how you're getting connected to customers. So it is a built-in implication that you're going to ask for recommendations. Is everybody with me on that? Is that good? Okay, so the magic phrase happens at the beginning of the demo. Daniel, you are not allowed to do this one without some practice. Okay, this isn't just like whip it out of my first demo and I'm just going to roll with it because Evan talked about it. This would be a rehearsal thing. Matthew, you want to smooth this thing out so you're not too rough around the edges. But I'm going to, again, I'll share all these docs with you at the end. So no need to take any notes on this part. Just want you all to understand the concept. Do you see on my screen here? Let me see if I can get this up for y'all. Did everything come up? Can you see my whole screen now? All right, so this is Evan's magical lead phrase, as you can see, for the DSA, okay? DSA is short for Direct Selling Association. You may or may not know, we're a part of that. All right, so this is said before you play any videos or anything like that at the beginning, and you might remember in your demo that you're already saying something like this. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm only able to work with referrals, so my biggest goal today, Nicholas, is that you like me in Cutco enough to share your friends, right? So we're giving a little hint at it here, but I'm going to have you, Matthew, you're going to replace this line in your demo with the magical lead phrase, right? Which is these 3 paragraphs. So Carla, you're going to say this. You're going to say, by the way, Mrs. Jones, I'm right here. Okay. Can you all see my mouse where I'm hovering? So right here, I'm going to say, hey, thanks, Nicholas. By getting the great product, you'd also be helping me out towards my goals. Also, by the way, Mrs. Jones, we're a member of the DSA, which is the Direct Selling Association, and Cutco is also a member of the Better Business Bureau. And these are 2 organizations that monitor ethical practices for companies, and we have an excellent record with both of them. Now, what that really means, Tiaja, is that we don't do any door-to-door. We don't do any telemarketing at all for our business. The only way that I can continue to compete for that scholarship I was telling you about, or plug in whatever goal makes sense, is if I'm personally recommended to other people by each customer, kind of how Cindy referred me to you, right? So I'm very upfront about this. Now, here's the magic. Okay, I want to let them know what I'm going to ask for. So, Miss Sheridan, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to definitely ask you to recommend me to 10, 20, or 30 more people. What's on my face when I'm saying this? The big ass smile. Okay. No fear in your heart, Daniel. Okay. Matthew, you better not say something weak like 5, 10, 15, none of that business. You say strong. Miss Jones, 10, 20, I don't know, 30 or more. So she almost kind of goes like, that's a big number, but I'm saying it out loud. And if I don't do a good job, and if you don't like the product or you just don't like me, I don't want you to recommend me to anyone, Mrs. Jones. But Miss Sheridan, if you felt like I did a good job, if you liked the presentation, or you what? I go, oh, are you just like me? Right? I literally do it just like that. Or you just like me? Then I'm going to ask you to recommend me to as many as you can, Matthew, as many people as possible. I just wanted to give you a heads up. And they go, okay, cool. That's great. Right? So they at least know that in advance. So now, Nicholas, when you ask them for the end, for them to do introductions on the app, it's not a surprise. Like you were very clear and upfront about that. So that way they know that it is coming. This doesn't mean every customer is going to give you 30 now. It's just helpful to know that you can do this at the beginning. Okay. Is everybody okay about where this goes in the demo? And everybody's okay with this script right here about what we're trying to accomplish? All right. So again, you're going to get the drive link for this thing. You can print it out, practice it, and start using it on your demos. And then just make sure you incorporate the smile, Tiaja, when you do this. Ms. Jones, if you like the presentation, if you felt like I did a good job, if you like the presentation, or you just like me, Ms. Jones, like you're going to do it just like that. They're like, okay, sweetie, no problem. Right. Then I just want to give you a heads up. Okay. So this is the magical phrase. You guys like that? Next demo, you could put that in play. You just want to rehearse it a little bit before you start. Okay. So that part's important. All right. I'm going to teach you something else here real quick. And I'm actually going to do this for you guys. So one area for everybody that needs improvement for is helping your social media. Okay. Obviously social media is like your business card now, right? Like that, you want to make sure that that looks good and clients are going to be seeing that. And I think there's a lot of value in having a good profile, at least that customers are going to see, right? So one of the things that I think is really important for all of you is increasing, if you want to get more recommendations, is increasing your Facebook game. Okay, now, do any of you regularly use Facebook every day? Carla's my only one. Some of you are like, Facebook? Evan, you're talking about the wrong app, right? That's not the one that you use. Matthew, you probably use something else, right? You might be using Clubhouse, you might be using TikTok. I don't know what you're using, right? But you're not using Facebook. Here's what I want you to think about mentally, Nicholas. Facebook, I don't know how old you are, Nicholas, but I'm guessing you're younger than me. Facebook ain't for you, man. Facebook is for Max. Facebook is where Max hang out. Facebook is for older people, right? That's why I have a Facebook. That's what I started with. I grew up on Facebook, all right? Carla's like, yeah, me, right? Facebook is for older generation. So Sheridan, you're not posting on Facebook to your friends because you don't have any friends on Facebook probably, and they ain't reading it anyway. It's not about your friends. It's about the Max. Okay, so what you want to get good at doing is having your customers get good at putting your face on their Facebook. Now, we have a Facebook approach. It's in your referral approach. It's already in there. So I'm not going to go over about how to do that. I just think everybody should be doing that on a regular basis. Every customer, you should ask them, Nicholas, to put up a post for you. Nicholas, that also means you need to get a good, clean picture of you. I'm assuming you have one, right? Maybe it's a graduation photo. It's you in a football outfit. It doesn't matter what it is. Just something that they can share. Pictures are going to track better. And then also you have that script. So that way customers can copy and paste. I would not have a customer try to create their own script for you at all. It makes them think too much, which is going to decrease them actually doing the activity. So what I would have ready is, Carla, you got a beautiful picture of you, you got the script that's ready to go, and you ask the customer, hey, Miss Sheridan, would you mind putting something up on Facebook? It's a great way for people to hear about it. Also, Daniel, you should be friends with all of your clients on Facebook. Okay, so now, Tiaja, Facebook is for business. It's not for fun because you don't use it for fun anyway, right? Facebook is for business. It's going to get you CPO and it's going to create more revenue for you. So what happens is, Daniel, you have one of these moms shared on their Facebook and you're friends with her. A lot of beautiful things start happening. One, if you're friends with your customer, what can you also see? You can see their friends, which means you can message their friends, right? It's literally every day, TJ, you could just wake up with your customers and just do 10 Facebook message a day. Boom, 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 boom. It's a slow play. It'll take a while to get responses for it. But if you stay consistent with it, you'll get demos off of it. The other thing is you got this beautiful picture of you, Tiaja, and she's sharing it. You'll have people liking. Oh, Cutco, I've been looking for a rep. I want to get it. Anybody that likes the photo, you can message them. And this creates a lot of extra demos and traction for you to expand the amount of people that you're meeting. Okay, is everybody okay with that? So make sure that you're taking advantage of using the Facebook approach as much as you can. That is already in your recommendation approach that y'all have. And so this would be a great example of Jessica Shannon doing this with her clients, right? So they're putting it up there and that's great. If you can get a screenshot up with you and the client, even better. But if you didn't have it with the client and I would just have my face on there. All right, so that's really important. Okay. We are going to, I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. I'm looking at the time. I'm going to do one more big thing on recommendations, and then we're going to talk about sales. Okay. So the big thing on recommendations is this for your notes. Okay. So I'm going to explain how this works, but we're going to talk about 60-40. All right. 60-40. And I'll explain what this means. When I say 60-40, all of you should know at this point that we give away a lot of free Cutco when customers buy. Okay. And you can also, there's different amounts of Cutco that we can give. Okay. However, there's typically a threshold of the amount of Cutco that we can give a client. Okay. So worth writing down in your notes is when you're brand new, what we trained you all on is that you could give away $200 worth of Cutco for every $1,000 that they spend. The rough ratio here, or the exact ratio, is 20%, right? So Daniel, you can give them 20% of the retail price in free stuff. Matthew, now that you are here at my SLDM, you have my go ahead forever and always to give more free stuff. Okay, this isn't for the entire Riverside Rain teams. It's just for people that come to the SLDM, right? I'm gonna say, hey, you got a green light. Tiaja, that means you don't have to call Kaylin. Can I give this away? Just give it away if you need to do it to make the sale and get Rex, okay? So you got a little bump there, which is nice. When you enter orders, it also will tell you if you're over your limit. Some of you guys might have noticed that already, okay? But it goes all the way up to technically 33% is where we max out with a customer. All right, so that's the starting point for everybody to understand this ratio, okay? So 30% is what we're operating with. Now, I'm gonna come back to a different ratio, 60-40. Okay, so let me explain what we're going to do here with recommendations. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull up my whiteboard here. I'm going to show you how this works. Okay, I'll give you a new rep example, right? A new rep example. Let's say they're selling a signature set, roughly, right? Whatever a signature set is. How much free stuff can I give? Well, 30% of that equals what? $450. I think I did my math right. So they could get, that's what you could max out on this one at Carla. So this would be max. And you only want to max this out if you need to, right? Now, when you give away $450 worth of Cutco, what happens to your CPO? Who knows what happens to your CPO? It gets smaller, right? So you got that, right, Nicholas? Like the more free stuff you give, it makes it smaller in your order. So you might all be wondering like, well, why are we trying to give away more free stuff? You want to give away as much free stuff as possible, but here's the shift. What are you all giving away free stuff for? To get them to do what? See in the chat? Isn't that what you're doing? That's what you were trained on. Nothing wrong with that. Now you're going to stop doing that. And what we're going to do is we're going to teach you the 60-40. So what you're going to start doing is instead of giving away all the free stuff, Nicholas, to make the sale, I'm going to have you all split it. So you're going to give away some stuff to get them to say yes, but you want to give yourself some room. So the extra free stuff, now, Carla, what are you doing it for? You want to incentivize them to give you what? Recommendations, right? And so this should be the biggest light bulb for all of you right now. Where you're like, well, shoot, I've been giving away just free stuff for sales. You want to give away free stuff to get recommendations. Hello, okay? Sheridan, would you be okay giving away only $200 of free stuff on a signature set? You'd be like, yeah, like I'm going to make a lot more. Well, would you be okay with giving away $450? You might be like, well, I don't know, Evan, that's a lot. Like my CPO is going to be kind of low. Would you be willing to give away $450 of free stuff to get them to say yes and get 40 recommendations? Would that be worth it? Absolutely. It's like I'm trying to buy these recommendations. I want to incentivize my customer to recommend. How many of you are telling your customers that they become a sponsor? Cool. Do you think that's really incentivizing your customer? You might be like, who cares about you, right? Yeah, I got to be a sponsor. What do I get? They're like, you're like, nothing. You just put your name on the list, right? But I get some free Cutco from my manager. So Sheridan, you get helped, and that's cool. That's really good. But it should be a two-way what? Two-way street. Carla, you scratch my back, scratch your back, right? That's how it works. That's how it works in this world. So we want to make sure we give away free stuff to get the lead. So this is all you guys have to do. It's really simple. Okay. So I talked about 60-40, right? So 60%, 40%. So what that means is I would encourage you to use 60% of the free stuff to get more recs and use 40% of your free stuff to get more sales. So what I would do here, if Daniel's buying a signature set from me and I max out at $450 is my max, well, what's 40% of $450. Well, that's $180, okay? And you can do this on your calculator real quick. By the way, if you end up, Matthew, being 50-50, you're okay, right? You could split it in half if that makes it easier for you. But the idea is, what is $180 worth of Cutco that I could give Mrs. Jones to buy this set? K-bar, extra table knives, super shears, and something else, right? I could throw a few things in. And what about the other 60%? Well, the other 60% is going to be the difference on this, which I actually don't know that math, right? What is that? Lindsay, come on, help me out here. 200, what is that? 270? Carl, I feel you signing at me, and I'm embarrassed to say that I know no sign language. Un poquito, that's Spanish. There we go. All right, so it's something like that. Lindsay, you got that number for me? Is this right?
You're right. You're good. Trust
Hey,
me.
that's what I needed to hear. Okay, cool. So now what does Sheridan do? Sheridan goes, okay, I got all this extra stuff in the chamber. Now I start using that to get recommendations. Hey, Mrs. Jones, if you get to 10 recs, you become a sponsor. But I want to let you know, Miss Jones, on the app, if you can get me 15 recs, you know what? I know you want to get that ice cream scoop today, but you didn't get it. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in for you for Mother's Day as a gift if you can get to 15. And then you know what Sheridan's going to say? Once they get to 15, you're going to go, hey, just so you know, I can do more. And they go, what do you mean you can do more? And you go, all right, well, Miss Jones, if you get to 25 recommendations, I'll go ahead and throw in a cheese knife for you too. Miss Jones, if you get to 35 recs, so you just get 10 more, I'll go ahead and throw in the peeler. Hey, Mrs. Jones, you get to 50 recommendations and you break my record, I'm going to go ahead and throw in the hearty slicer for you. So that way you're already set for your husband for Father's Day when it comes up in June. You see what I mean? Because all these little things are adding up. I'm just using this extra. Okay. Is everybody with me on this? Makes sense. So just don't give away all the free stuff. You want to incentivize that. Have any of you guys had a customer tell you they don't know anybody? Wait till you incentivize it. You're like, Miss Jones, I can hook you up with a bunch of free Cutco today if you can hook me up with some people to see. Matthew, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'll just find my other cell phone that has all the people that I was withholding from you. But now since you're putting some juice on it for me, I'm interested. Right? Think about that. Sheridan, you help me, I help you. That seems like a fair world, right? So yeah, they're becoming a sponsor, but now there's something in it for them. So do not process your order. Put this in your notes. Do not process your order until you finish recommendations. All right. So important to do that. So now, Carla, when you're doing this extra for them at the end, you're all good to go. Is that helpful? Free stuff for recommendations. Okay. Free stuff for recommendations. And so if you like this information, by the way, this is why I would say showing up at the events are really important, right? Like next week we have our kickoff conference. Like be at that kickoff conference, learn the information from all the people that are going to be teaching, because we're going to continuously get more advanced with our teaching as the summer goes along. So a lot of good stuff. Okay. Last thing I'm going to teach you today is increasing your average order. So I'm going to tell you, selling more Cutco comes from getting more recommendations. And so many people are focused on sales, right? For obvious reasons. We want to sell a lot of Cutco, but they don't really understand that idea that, hey, I need to make sure I get good with Rex first. So we want to get you good here. So we're going to talk about the kitchen system. Okay, this is a couple good things for your notes, maybe a screenshot or two, but I will share this entire slide package with all of you. I have an abbreviated slide package for you, so you'll be able to refer to all this stuff at the end. Okay, because I'm going to go quick through this, just time-wise. I want to make sure we're good. All right, so I'm going to teach you all how to sell a kitchen system. Okay, you might go, well, what's the kitchen system? I didn't learn about that in training. Well, we haven't talked about it yet. It's literally saved for the SLDM. So nobody else, Nicholas, on your team in Riverside are going to know about this unless it's Daniel and Matthew or somebody else in Riverside that's already gone through the SLDM. So this is just for you to know. All right, so the kitchen system. Okay, so the kitchen system is here. The kitchen system is in between the signature set and the homemaker set. Okay, so we're creating a step. We're creating a package here. So after today, this will be what you start with. Okay, so all of you are probably starting with the homemaker set. Unless they say, hey, I love the ultimate, you're saying you're going right to that, but you're starting with the homemaker in the manual. But now you're going to start with the kitchen system. So what you're going to do is this. When you get to the homemaker sets, I will show you the screen here. Does everybody see this? I have this word for word typed out. This is a new close for you right here with all the prices. All right. And the copies of the slides and the whole nine. All right. So anyway, I'm not going to read through all this right now because you're going to have access to it, but it's going to be right in the file. So what the kitchen system is, you guys are showing the homemaker first. And what do you guys give them for free? What do you offer them for free? You can post in the chat. Like, what are you giving them for free? Or unmute Carla's okay.
The entertainer set, typically, or the shears.
Or shears, right? Or we could do kitchen tools, right? These are very common things that we give away. So what you're now going to do is this. You're going to say, Mrs. Jones, let me show you our most popular set. Our most popular set is our kitchen system, okay? Our kitchen system. What that comes with is the Homemaker Plus 8, which has all the 10 tools I explained earlier, plus 8 table knives and a wood block. It's our most popular option. You can also get it without the table knives in the bottom. But our kitchen system, Carla, comes with the basic set, but it also comes with our entertainer pack. So you get the peeler, the ice cream scoop, the cheese knife, and the pizza cutter. And it also comes with our super shears that you saw earlier in the video, Carla, that you loved so much, our kitchen shears. Those all come together in our kitchen system. All right, is everybody okay with that? So I'm packaging those 3 things together. I haven't said anything about free stuff yet. Then I say, Mrs. Jones, the great thing about the kitchen system is it doesn't cost $4,000, right? Although it would if it was sold in stores, although it would, right? Because you think about Wusthof, right? It's going to be a lot more than that. In fact, Mrs. Jones, it doesn't even cost close to the price of the Wusthof set of the 3,400. The kitchen system, Mrs. Jones, that a lot of customers get when they see Cutco is only $1,671. It's only $1,671. And we also have a trial option with this as well, where we have a 5-pay. Mrs. Jones, it only is $362 to put down today to get your kitchen system. And when you get your kitchen system today, we also have a buy now bonus. So if you get your kitchen system today, I can also hook you up with a $250 Cutco shopping spree. So you can pick out any other items in the catalog that you want to add on to your order. So Mrs. Jones, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, Matthew, would you like to get your kitchen system today and get your free stuff of Cutco? And then what do you do after you ask them if they want to buy, everybody? You shut up, right? You just start going like this. And if they say yes, great. Okay. And so that would be the kitchen system. Here is the 5-pay. Simple enough. Now, why are we doing this, right? Well, basically we're packaging it. What am I charging them for here, everybody? Does everybody see this? Am I giving away the entertainer pack? Am I giving away the shears, Daniel? No, I am not. What am I doing, Sheridan? Well, I'm charging them for it, right? I'm creating a package deal because when you guys are selling a homemaker set, it's $13.26, right? Now I'm selling a homemaker for how much, Tiaja? I'm selling it for $16.71. What happened to my average sale? Goes right up. And I will let you know, just so you all are aware, Nicholas, for the average customer, the difference between $13.26 and $16.71 is actually not that much. Especially when you look at the 5-pay, the differences between them is maybe $70 a month. That's $17 a week, right? You could spend more than that with like 2 people going to lunch at Starbucks easily. You know what I mean? So when you think about it like that, for them to like do one little step up, don't be thrown off by 1671. Now, here's the idea, Sheridan. If they say yes to this, what just happened to your sale price? It's going to be a 4-digit sale. It's going to be a 4-digit CPO, like 1,000 something. Everybody would love $1,000 sale, right? When you get this thing and you message me in the chat, Evan, I just dropped a kitchen system. What do you say right after that? I just put it in the chat. It's all good though, Evan, I'm just doing the job. Like, that's right. You're just doing the job. Go get yourself another one, right? Because those are great sales. Any 4-digit CPO order is a great order, right? We love those ones. So that raises your order. Now, anybody can unmute here. After I show the kitchen system to my client, they say, hey, I can't get that today. I can't get it. Where do you go next?
No worries. You know what? I can still get you that homemaker system, and I'm sure that I can still get you that entertainer pack or the shears, whichever one you want, like the best.
For free, right?
For free, absolutely free.
I like that.
And don't worry about that. If you like the other one, don't worry. You're going to have a chance to get some with the Rex. So don't be afraid.
I like the spirit, Carla. That's awesome. So here, most people go, what Carla's saying, right? I'll go kitchen system. And then I'll go right to the homemaker, what I was trained on. No, you go kitchen system, Sheridan. If they don't get that, then you go mini kitchen system.
Oh.
And then if they don't get that, then you go homemaker.
Oh.
If they can't get the homemaker, what do? Then you go discounted homemaker.
Okay.
Then you go to the galley set. So this is worth writing down, is so important, is Nicholas, the average customer will say no in a sales process somewhere between 3 and 5 times, depending on the book you read. They will say that many no's before they say yes. So no's are good. I want to get no's out of the way. If you want to put this down in your notes, the more no's I get, the closer to yes I get. Have any of you sold one knife before on a demo, 1 or 2 pieces, something like that, really, really small? Well, watch this, Carla. Watch what happens. This is all about consumer psychology. So what happens here is, Carla, you're showing the homemaker, right? If they say, I don't want to get that, she just got a what? A no. Now she goes to the galley set. If they can't get that, now she got another what? No. She goes to the, you guys get, all right, starter set, no. Custom set, no. Pieces, yes. No, 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 yes. It adds to a yes. Now watch what I'm teaching you. When I go here on the kitchen system for this, and I'm starting here, I go, Mrs. Jones, do you want to get the kitchen system today? She says, no. I offer the mini kitchen system. She says, no. I offer the homemaker set. She says, no, Sheridan. I offer the homemaker on a discount. She says, no. That's 4 no's I got out of the way. Now, how does the galley set look to her? Itty bitty, small, and they go, that one's perfect. Now Sheridan just closed a galley set versus selling a trimmer. So so this is also worth writing your notes. This is the big light bulb for this, is when you start higher, you end higher. So when I go through all these options, I'm getting all the no's out of the way. I'm not even concerned, Matthew, that they say no to the kitchen system. It doesn't bother me at all, because I just want to get the no's out of the way. And so what I have in here in the slides that I shared with all of you, I have the mini kitchen system right here that you could offer, Carla, where we're charging them right here. You can see we're charging them for the homemaker. We're charging them for the entertainer pack, and they're getting the what? The super shears for free, right? Y'all see that? Here's the price for you. Then if that's not the option for them, you can also, I gave an option of the super shears. So I gave an option to make the price even lower. I'll charge them for the homemaker. I'll charge them for the shears. I'll just give them the entertainer pack for free. Here's my final price. Here is my 5-pay.
Right.
All real simple. Okay. And then of course, if they can't get that, then I would go to the homemaker set. So just so everybody's clear with me right here, this is my option. I go from the kitchen system down to either one of the minis, whatever feels better, right? Tiaja, if your customer's like 1671's way out of my price limit, I might automatically go to the super shears, because this one's, I'm charging for that. That's cheaper, right? If it just feels like it's a little off, I can go right to the entertainer pack, right? It's a little bit more CPO for me. I'm still hooking them up with some free stuff, and I still have room, by the way, to give them free stuff for recommendations. Is everybody okay with that?
Great.
Kitchen system. Okay. Now there's going to be a contest for the 6 of you, and only 6 of you. First person to sell the kitchen system wins. All right. So there's rules for this, Mr. Nicholas. All right. So rule is for the kitchen system, because I want to incentivize you to drop this on your next demo. All right. So show this thing, and you're going to have the link on exactly the script and whatnot to do it. but you sell this on your next demo. It just has to be Roloed and entered online. That's it, right? Just make sure it's processed. And then you can choose from two options, like little stuff, right? You can either opt for $150 worth of Cutco of your choice from me, like any of the knives that we make. I'll just send it to you, no problem at all. Okay. Or you can opt for a one-on-one networking meeting with me. Okay. And like if you're in San Diego, it's a little bit easier, but some of you that are not, like in Riverside, we'll basically have lunch together, right? Like get your lunch, we'll hop on Zoom together. Your manager can be on, and you can just get my undivided attention. Just get one-on-one time with me. We'll talk about anything you want to, any part of the business, any part you want help with. I'm down to help you for an extended one-on-one time, which I don't normally get to do with newer reps. Now, when you win this thing, whoever wins this, Sheridan, if it's you, Matthew, it's you. If you win this thing and you opt for the Cutco, I am like not offended by that at all. Okay, so don't worry about that. Don't be like, well, shoot, I probably should do the one-on-one. Like, if you want the Cutco, Matthew, get the Cutco. It's all good with me. It's no problem. I want to just reward you with something you're excited about. If you want to go with the networking time and we jump on together and you pick my brain, I get to know you more, and that helps your future here, and that adds up for you. Wonderful to do that. All right. So it's for this group. You have to drop it in this chat. Okay, this chat that we have today, it's going to be pretty much silenced after this. Like, put all your other stuff in the other chats that you're in. I just want to get the info to all of you here. But first person to make the sale for it, you can drop it in this chat so I can get you all paid out for your prize. That sound good? Easy. I'm going to wrap up with this. It's 5 o'clock right now. I'm just going to wrap up with a few last slides here. So just hang with me. I'm probably going to go 3 minutes over. Hopefully it's worth it for you today with information that you've gotten. So first thing is reminders for events, right? You like the stuff you got today. There's more of it coming, okay? So all of you are invited to our Western Region Summer Kickoff Conference. It's going to replace our team event next week anyway. We're gonna be having all kinds of managers across the West Coast speaking, and it'll be, for a lot of you, your first exposure to Daniel Cassetta, our region manager. So he's gonna be hosting that event for everybody, and he is the big boss in the West. So he's a great guy to just get exposed to and also get on the radar in the future. Upcoming contests that we have a challenge week that comes up. This is towards the end of June, obviously, as you can see, but this is one of our first kind of major contests of the summertime. So if you want to start gearing up for that, building momentum for that, that's great. And then we have our one and only division meeting this summer is on June 28th. Okay, so that is for all my offices. I will be hosting everybody, and we are going to go next level with a lot of great information for all of you at that one as well. Okay, and then our summer conference number one, our big first really large event, regional event for the summertime, is going to be on July 14th. Because of this, it will be COVID stuff. Everything will be on Zoom for the most part for the next handful of months. We are going to have our first live in-person regional event in September. It is going to be in Las Vegas. I would love to see you all there. High five you and shake your hand. Ms. Sheridan, you must be at $10,000 to enter. There is a qualifier for that one, and we go to Vegas and we tear it up, and it's a beautiful thing. All right, we go in the middle of September, so put that on your radar. Something to get. A lot of my TLA is there, and just a great opportunity to meet everybody face to face in person. So that's a big one. The last thing I'm going to give everybody here is just one of the ways you can get on the radar is with CPO. Another way you can get on the radar is by building the team, right? I'm not shy about it. We're a recruiter. I want to build with great people. We want more people selling Cutco, more people on our team. And so you have prizes and stuff that you can win. I'm sure your managers showed this at pretty much every single team meeting that they run, or they should be. There's a lot of stuff that you can win when your PRs go out there and get their first promotion. If you're in your fast start contest, finish strong, get to 10K, win the MVP night. Carla, we're doing this soon. We're doing our MVP night really quick. And I know it wasn't for your fast start. It was for a different contest that we ran in April, but we're going to do fantastic dinners. Here's some dinner nights in the past that we've done. Tonight, we're going to Civico 1845, which is a beautiful restaurant in Little Italy and a great experience as well. And if you're not in your fast start contest, there will be opportunities to win MVP nights and dinner nights and exclusive events and stuff like that. So just stay tuned and put your best effort forth for that. I'll wrap with this. Last reminders. Hit Dirty 30 as quick as possible. If you don't have any other focus out of all this thing, this whole meeting today, it's like, I got to get to Dirty 30 as quick as possible. And then that's where the job really starts. That's where it gets really exciting. Reminder for everybody to put your effort in, show that kitchen system on your next demo. And then I'm going to drop the drive link in here for all of you post this event. And that way you can get the information that I went over today. So just star that one and make sure that you dive into it and spend a little time with it today. Lastly is DVM networking. So let me talk about how to communicate with me moving forward. Now that you're at this event, I'd like to have more interactions with you. The best way to have interactions with me is to, put out some results and then make sure that you are chirping the chat, right? And letting me know. So here's things that I want to know about. The WhatsApp group that your manager has with me and you in it, that's the one occasionally to let me know about. Okay, so I'm in a lot of different groups, right? A lot of different WhatsApps going on, but this is a great way for me to make sure that we can build a relationship at least to start, and you stay on the radar, and I know your name, Matthew, and all those types of things. So make sure that you are sharing hot news with me. It's always good to run it by your DM first, like, hey, is this an Evan share? Only because I don't want to clog up my WhatsApp with like everything hot that goes on. Like, Matthew, I don't need to hear about when you sell a peeler. That's great that you did. I'm happy you sold something, but I wouldn't say that's like DVM hot news worthy, right? So I'd say anything 500 plus CPO, 15 plus Rex, any promotion that you hit. I just got key staff. Evan, I want to fill my assistant manager intern application. Those are great things to like chirp the chat with, right? Like hot news. You can always ask your manager about that. And then here's my last assignments for you. Okay, so tonight and moving forward, you can utilize this information. I gave you a lot of info today, certainly a lot of info, but implement only 3 things, 2 or 3 things maybe at a time. So like Matthew, when you go away from this, like just do the magic phrase and do the kitchen system and get good at that, right? And then pile something else on, right? Tiaj, you might want to go, all right, I'm going to do the opening, the rapport building, start my demo, stop. Thanks so much. Have you ever heard of Cutco? I'm not a nice salesperson. Can I tell you why I'm working? Here are my goals. Like maybe you're doing that part and you want to get that down. Do not try to do everything, Sheridan, that I went over today. Like I'm just going to nail it on my next demo. It's going to be perfect. Like fold it in, right? Like you're folding it into a recipe, don't just dump it all in the bowl at one time, right? You want to fold it in so you can get it worked out and smooth it out. Be at the next event. Any event that I'm at, I'm going to be looking for your names on the Zoom for sure, right? You're at my SLDM. I got you on my roster. It's great. Also, have all of you filled out the get to know you SLDM sheet for me? I think I saw all of you on there. I wasn't sure, but just make sure you filled that out. It was in the link above in the chat that I dropped before. Please, right now, when we end this Zoom, message your manager. What are you excited about? What are you fired up about? What promotion do you want to get? Like light them up with that so that way they know and they can make a plan. And then I have a request of all of you is if you can post your light bulbs from today in our SLDM chat. So look at all your notes, put it on there, light bulb it all out. What stood out for you today? It's just good feedback for me. What hit for you? What were you excited to learn? Maybe it was like, hey, and now I can give away free stuff for recommendations. How the hell did you hold that back for me? Why don't you teach me that training? You're like, that was the thing that I needed. Like, I need to hear that stuff that matters for you. We're trying to make our SLDMs better all the time, but the light bulbs are great, right? So just make sure that's part of it and just keep leading the way with your team. All right, everybody, that's it. I went over 6 minutes. Carla got promoted key staff yesterday. Yeah, actually, Jeremy told me about that this morning. So congratulations to you. So, hey, it's a real pleasure to meet all of you and at least get exposed in this way. I hope you found this event valuable. I hope you have a lot of great new information and it's exciting for you. But obviously, information is nothing without putting it into practice and execution. So please go out and start executing and have a lot of fun. Go sell a bunch of Cutco. We got a beautiful summer ahead of us. I'll see you at our region event. Post your light bulbs up, win the contest, and that's it. You guys are all set. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy your evening. Oh, one more thing. I'm out. Sorry. We have a phone jam 6 to 8 regionally tonight. You might have seen that in the chats. So it's an invitation for any of you, not an obligation, but there is a phone jam that they're giving away cash and prizes tonight. So might be a good one to be on. All right. So not you, Carla. You're coming to dinner with me. All right, everybody. I'll see you later.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everybody.